It's the day of the bomba for Tottenham Hotspur. The transfer window is now alive and kicking for the North London club. Some huge breaking news coming out of White Hart Lane in regard to our transfer activity. And I think this is the start of many good things for Tottenham Hotspur. Today on the Sonny Talk Spurs YouTube channel, I'll be reacting to some breaking transfer news and another piece of business that Tottenham are set to do. But before we get into it, if you are new to the channel, then leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also let me know in the comments down below. Are you happy with our first proper big signing of the summer? And who else do you want us to sign? And as you're probably all aware, and you've seen it already, David Ornstein has tweeted an Athletic exclusive saying that Tottenham Hotspur reached total agreement with West Ham United to sign Mohammed Kudus. Deal with 24-year-old West Ham forward worth in region of 55 million. Medical scheduled on Thursday ahead of Ghana International joining Tottenham on a 6-year contract. Now, I was on the fence about the Kudus deal. I was like, depending on how much we spend on him and the length of the deal and all that sort of stuff, I was a bit sceptical because this is a player who I mentioned in my previous video has got a lot to prove. But I think at Tottenham, he could go to that next level, unlike what he was doing at West Ham, a club which was, you know, staggering and stalling. But 55 million for Kudus in the current market where that's what you can pay for Elanga to Newcastle, Madueke to Arsenal, you know, and Buemo, we've seen how much wages Man United have offered him. I think this is a very good deal. I think West Ham will be furious with David Sullivan selling him for this low. They had an £85 million release clause, and we've got him for 55 million. I think that's really good business by Daniel Levy. We criticise him and slag him off for deals, but this is one that he's really thought through. I don't know the details of, how much of it is up front or if there's any clauses, because there was a thing, apparently, the Talksport reported that there was a clause where, depending if he wins the Premier League or the Champions League, there's more money, but I doubt we're going to do that. But I think this is the perfect winger for Thomas Frank to really get his teeth into and make him his new Mbeumo. I think, this is the deal where I actually think Tottenham have done really well. His versatility, he can play across the whole forward line, and it adds another dynamic to our attack that I think is really, really important. So I'm really happy with this deal. I think Tottenham have gone really out their way to get a good one here. And West Ham, as I say, I think they'll be furious. A lot of West Ham fans, as I say, as I've said in previous videos, are not fussed, but they needed to sell. But I don't think they got as much money as they thought. I think David Sullivan thought that the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea were going to come in for him, but Tottenham have usurped them and really done well to drive a hard bargain. I think it is absolutely spectacular. And another bit of breaking news then that has come out today is that Tottenham are interested in signing Yoane Wissa from Brentford, and Thomas Frank is keen to bring his former striker to the club. Now, this is an interesting one because Brentford have already lost Thomas Frank to us. They look like they're losing Bryan Mbeumo to Manchester United, Christian Norgard to Arsenal, and Yoane Wissa is on the list as well. Price around £50 million, which I think is quite interesting because the way I see it is Kudus has been brought in as an extra. I feel like he's come in as another, piece of our jigsaw puzzle. Whereas I think Yoane Wissa will come in and replace Richarlison. I think Richarlison will see him go if Wissa comes in. And if you're paying 50 million, I think that's a good deal. I was actually just speaking to my dad on the phone. He thinks the Wissa deal would be better than a Bryan Mbeumo deal based on the price we could get him for. I know he's a bit older, but he's proven goal scorer at his age. 20 Premier League goals I think he got. The wages will be a lot less. And, Frank improved him immensely. So I feel like this is a really good option for Tottenham to explore. So if we do a deal for Kudus and Wissa, I think Tottenham would have had an amazing summer. And you add a 6 to that, maybe, keep the players that we don't want to get rid of, like a Christian Romero. I think Tottenham will be laughing this season. I really think that is a good bit of business. And I feel like it makes Tottenham's attack bit of a different dynamic. We've got a lot of different players there. You think of Maddison, Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson, Tell, Son. I mean, what happens with Son if we secure both these players? Does he stay? Does he leave? That'll be quite interesting. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. But it seems like Thomas Frank is finally getting the players that he has wanted. And I think Tottenham people and fans like myself and you guys watching this, I think you've and we've all been quite critical of how slow Tottenham have operated. You know, so far only signing Tel Danzo from loans to permanent, and then making the deal for Kota Takai as our first transfer, but that was only £5 million from the J League. But this is a statement, 55 million down on a player from a rival as well. You know, the last time we dealt with West Ham was in 2011 for Scotty Parker. And that was after they got relegated. So it really shows that Thomas Frank's pull is starting to pay off. So yeah, I really like this deal, and I could see a world where both Kudus and Yoane Wissa are dovetailing lovely in a Tottenham forward line. I am really excited for what we're going to see from this transfer. I just think Kudus, he can just play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play through the middle, he can play up top if we need it. I think what we lacked last season, especially under Ange Postecoglou, was players who were able to maybe play in a multitude of certain positions and looking for different options off the bench. It was a bit stale when it came to subs and options. Whereas I think Kudus offers, you know, he can drive from deep, he can dribble, he has an eye for a goal, and Frank will be hoping to improve his goal scoring ability. But yeah, I have no complaints about this deal. I think everyone will be happy. Maybe not West Ham, but I think Tottenham fans should get behind this, because as I say, I was on the fence about it when it came to Kudus, but I feel like now it makes sense, especially for that price. If we were paying upwards of 65 million, I think that would have been a bit silly and a dangerous territory. A territory. And I think like Man United have shown themselves that the deal that they're driving for Mbuemo Brentford is one that's getting dangerously expensive. So this is one where I'm like, makes total sense. Tottenham, you've done a really good deal here, and David Ornstein has delivered the bomba, and we couldn't be more happy. But you're going to have to let me know in the comments down below. What do you make of the Kudus signing? What do you make of the potential of Yoane Wissa joining as well this summer? And is there anyone else you think we should sign this summer on top of this? Obviously, there'll be a lot of names, so let me know all of them in the comments down below, and I'll probably do a deep dive video on them. But yeah, hope you have enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and until next time, up the Spurs, and I'll see you guys pretty soon. Ciao.